Every zero-waste YouTuber is going to talk to you about composting, but how many talk to you about human composting? How we dispose of people's bodies matters, for people's pocketbooks, and for the resources we use, especially chemicals. Take, for example, formaldehyde. It's considered toxic, but we use it in embalming fluid to slow decomposition, allowing a last glimpse of our loved ones. And funeral homes have an interest in continuing its use. In response to the EPA's proposed reevaluation of the toxicity of formaldehyde, the National Funeral Directors Association funded a study attempting to show formaldehyde's relative safety in embalming fluid. But with a sample size of only 13 funeral homes to account for the estimated 19,000 funeral homes in the United States, the study fails to provide practical information on formaldehyde exposure. One thing we can learn from this study, however, is that with an upper data point of 1.4 parts per million, at least one funeral home in the United States is measuring formaldehyde exposure at levels greater than OSHA's 8-hour exposure limits. After all is said about the negatives of modern funerary practices, why do I still sense a twinge of discomfort in you when I say human composting? Well, grief is a powerful thing. It makes us hone in on the lost relationship. When we lose someone, we may latch onto their physical body as a comfort to us of what once was, making us sensitive to how the body is treated. But it's not really what happens to the body that we're so attached to. It's the meaning we create within ourselves and with other grieving people also. Human composting presents a way in which we can recontextualize what death means to us, both for our own sake and for the environment. Drawing from the Zoroastrian Parsi people's dogma, the Salish community's burial canoe, and even whale skeletons in museums, one architecture student's thesis explores how we could create human composting centers in modern American cities. Science and art blend together here, having to consider practical considerations such as disease mitigation, while also imbuing these structures with dignity for the powerful relationships that once were. But you can't escape the pursuit of profit, with companies already starting to crop up in states that have approved human composting as a funerary practice. It just makes me wonder, why, with something so sacred to us as death, do we still have to have a profit motive? I mean, I hear the argument that, well, if it weren't for the funeral home, then you'd still have a dead body in your house. But that's not really the case, because for thousands of years, we cared for dead people under different modes of production. Already, people are turning away from traditional embalmed burials in favor of cremation. For environmental or spiritual reasons, people may want to look to other options though, and human composting may be one such solution. But we shouldn't let a drive for profit take advantage of vulnerable, grieving people. In the bulb, there is a flower. In the seed, an apple tree. Death is not oblivion. Some of the parts that once made us return to the soil from where they came, taking part in new life. These parts that once helped define us are never forgotten, only transformed. Death is not oblivion.